Hello there. A new report has put the real dampeners on the economic position of an independent Scotland. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. And a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. According to a new report, an independent Scotland would be hit hard financially whether or not it managed to join the European Union. Now, I've seen my fair share of economic reports during the unfolding of the Brexit process, and I was always sceptical of them as they seemed to assume that politicians and businesses would do nothing to mitigate any downsides, so you can take this one how you like. But the report from the London School of Economics Centre for Economic Performance, called Disunited Kingdom, Brexit, Trade and Scottish Independence, does say that, drawing upon research on the magnitude of border costs, we analyse an optimistic scenario where trade costs between Scotland and the rest of the UK increase by 15% after independence, and a pessimistic scenario with a 30% increase. Something that would have a devastating impact on the Scottish economy, given the relatively large amount of trade they do with the rest of the UK. And given that, in 2017, Scotland exported £98 billion worth of goods and services, of which £60 billion worth went to the rest of the UK. And also, Scotland's exports to countries beyond the UK are evenly split between EU and non-EU destinations. You can therefore see exactly how important the UK internal market is to Scotland's businesses when compared to the EU single market. The report also says, Scotland is a small, open economy that mostly trades with the rest of the UK. In 2017, the rest of the UK accounted for 61% of Scottish exports and 67% of Scottish imports. Scotland's trade with the rest of the UK is around 4 times larger than its EU trade. And further, it goes on to say that the impact of Brexit, where trade costs are concerned, would be 2 or 3 times that of the impact of Brexit. And the report points out that these costs would be there regardless of whether or not Scotland joined the EU, because there would be either a barrier between the rest of the UK and Scotland, or between Scotland and the EU. And one big issue here is that after independence, trade patterns would take many years to change, meaning initial costs could be high. Now, the report puts forward 5 scenarios. The first is Brexit with no independence, and this would result in a drop of 2% in GDP per capita for Scotland. Now, as a Brexiteer, I would not necessarily agree with that assessment, as you would imagine, but let's run with it anyway. Then there's Brexit with a low-cost rest of the UK common market area, where the assessment is that Scottish GDP would lose 6.5%. But if there was a high-cost common market area between Scotland and the rest of the UK, GDP per capita would be 8.7% lower. Were Scotland to rejoin the EU, there would only be marginal relief from the border costs with the rest of the UK, says the report. Should Scotland rejoin the EU and have low border costs with the rest of the UK, then Scottish GDP per capita would fall by 6.3%, as opposed to 6.5% if they didn't go back into the EU. And with a high border cost between them and the rest of the UK, joining the EU would mitigate the loss from the previously stated drop of 8.7% to a drop of 7.6%. And in the press release of the report it says, authors Hanwei Huang, Thomas Sampson and Patrick Schneider find that independence would hit the Scottish economy harder than Brexit, because Scotland's trade with the rest of the UK is about 4 times larger than its trade with the EU. This large difference means that creating a border within the UK would be more costly than the increase in UK-EU trade costs due to Brexit. The report also shows that there is around 6 times more trade between Scotland and the rest of the UK than predicted by the standard gravity model of international trade, highlighting the trade benefits from being part of a United Kingdom. Thomas Sampson, Associate Professor of Economics at LSE, said, "We find that the costs of independence to the Scottish economy are likely to be 2 to 3 times greater than the costs of Brexit. Moreover, rejoining the EU following independence would do little to mitigate these costs, and in the short run would probably lead to greater economic losses than maintaining a common economic market with the rest of the UK." And Patrick Schneider, a PhD student at LSE, added to the nationalist woes by saying, "We show that rejoining the EU will only support the Scottish economy in the long run if a costly condition is met, that the move to independence reduces trade with the rest of the UK by so much that the EU becomes Scotland's largest trading partner." Now that would need a massive change in trading patterns. Now, apart from the report saying that the Scottish economy is a highly open economy when compared to the UK due to its relatively small size compared to the UK, meaning it relies heavily on exports and imports, it also contains bad news on oil and gas revenues by pointing out how volatile that trade is. But the report also points out that business services make up 20% of Scottish exports, and we all know about the EU's reluctance to do services business, even if you're in the EU single market. And all this is without considering the currency and other effects of Scottish independence. On this, the report simply says, "We do not consider other effects of independence, such as changes in investment flows, fiscal arrangements or Scotland's currency." So no assessment of keeping the pound, joining the Eurozone or starting a new Scottish currency. Now, some commentators have said that Scotland could follow in Ireland's footsteps and open up their markets quite quickly to the EU. But I would point out that the UK and Ireland signed up to the EU together on the same day and already had a common travel area between them. Membership of the EU just enhanced it, and there was also a ready-made land bridge between Ireland and the wider EU in the form of the UK road network to assist them. Anyway, the report concludes by saying that Scottish voters need to be properly informed on the financial and economic outcomes of independence before any referendum, and that we find that the costs of independence to the Scottish economy are likely to be 2 to 3 times larger than the costs of Brexit. Moreover, rejoining the EU following independence would do little to mitigate these costs, and in the short run would probably lead to greater economic losses than maintaining a common economic market with the rest of the UK. And I suspect this will be one of many more similar reports to be issued in the coming months. No wonder the SNP is so keen to get an IndyRef 2 in motion as quickly as possible. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below, and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think about this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.